Okay, today we're going to talk about radical, which is another name of it, the square root. So let's review a little bit. Question 1. Square root of 25 will be 5 because 5 times 5 equal to 25. Square root of 50, something times something equals to 50. That's not likely that we can find easily, but there's another way. We can break the 50 into a perfect square times another factor. So 2 factor here. 25 times 2 equal to 50. And 25 can be taken out as 5. Same thing here. We have to think of 2 factor. Then one of them have to be a perfect square. 9 times 6. And 9. Radical of 9 can be taken out as a 3. And radical of 6. There's nothing we can do, so stay inside. There's a transition between radical to exponent. If you have radical x, we can write this as equal to x to the half. And because we have an imaginary 2 here, so radical or the regular square root, we can say that it's root 2. Since we have root 2, we also have root 3 here. And what happens if it's root 3 is equal to x to the 1/3. You may wonder where's the 1 come from. So the 1 come from the x here. There's an imaginary 1 here. So that's how we get x to the 1/3. Then what happens if we have x square root, the root 4th? Then this will be 1/4, and so on, so on. And this can be continued. Oops, really ugly. Let me fix this. And until infinity, we can have n root. Then this will be 1/n. Okay, let's solve some of the problem. 4 to the half can be written as square root of 4, and square root of 4 is 2. Second one, we have 7 to the 3/4. And remember, the 4th on the denominator comes from the root 4 of 7, and the numerator 3 stay with 7. And remember, this can be also written as, you can take out the 3 outside. They both are the same. How to simplify the radical? The trick will be, as long as they are even exponent, you divide by 2. So for example, you have x squared and then take the square root of it. Then you take out x squared and the square root, there's an imaginary 2 here. So I will have divide by 2. So x to the 1 equal to x. If you try something else, x to the 4, this will be x to the 4/2 equal to x to 2. How about y to the 6? Then we just switch to another variable, 6/2, y to the 3. What happens if I have a square root of x squared y to the 6 z to the 2? Then you have to divide by 2 on the exponent for each of the term, each of the variable. X to 2/2, y to the 6/2, z to the 2/2. This we get x to the 1, y to the 3, z to the 1. Well, on the other side, we can simplify the radical based on the odd exponent. Okay, odd exponent would be a little bit, just one more step. So before we divide by 2, based on 3. 3 is odd number, right? But 3 divided by 2 will not give you a whole number. So before we do that, let's split the x to the 3. Is x to the 2 times x. And x to the 2, we know that we can simplify it by taking out divided by 2 will be x. And we leave in x under the square root. Let's try one more. We have x to the 5. What happened? We can make it to x to the 4 times x. And remember, x to the 4, we learned from the previous one, is even number. We can just simplify that, become x to the 2, taking out x to the 2, and the x had to stay inside. Let's try this. Y to the 18. No, x to the 18, y to the 17. Alright, first of all, I think x we can take out because it's even exponent, so it becomes x to the 9. But y we cannot, so let's split it. Equal to 16 and then 1. So 16 plus 1 equals 17 from the law of exponent. And what we will get is 16, y to 16 divided by 2, we take out that, is y to the 8. And what I have inside is y to the 1, or we can just say y. When it comes to simplifying the radical, it can be the combination of even and odd exponent. Sometimes we will also have number like 100, but we can simplify one step one by one. It's like number, x and y. So first of all, radical of 100 is 10. Radical of 20, no, radical of x to the 20 is x to the 10 because we use 20 divided by 2. And now we have y to the 11, which is an odd exponent. So we have to split it before we take out the part y. Okay, we split it into y to the 10 times y to the 1. And y to the 10, we can take it out. We know that is y to the 5. And what I left is y to the 1, or just y inside. So let's try one more. We have radical of 54 x to the 7 y to the 16. And 54, we have to think about how we simplify this. 54 cannot directly simplify, but we can split it into 9 times 6, which is 9 can take out later. And x to the 7, 7 is an odd exponent, but we can also split it to the x to the 6 times x to the 1. And y is 16, so we can take this out later on. Next will be you have to figure out what stay inside, what have to be coming outside. And next you have to worry about what comes out and what stay inside. Radical of 9, we then take out 3. But the radical 6 can never simplify, so stay inside. How about this one? X to the 6, we can take out and divide by 2 will be 6 divided by 2, x to the 2. And x to the 1 had to stay inside. And y to the 16, we can also take this out by divide by 2 because it's even exponent, so it would be y to the 8. And that should be the final answer.